of Mishnah 2 in the third chapter. And we had started discussing the idea that Rabbi Hanina had told us that we should pray for the welfare of the government. And the reason was because if not, then everybody would swallow each other up alive. Well, people, not everyone, but people would swallow each other alive. But just take a look at the Hebrew here. So for the first part, we talked about Have mispalel b'shlomo shel malchus, that you should pray for the welfare of the government. And here's the part we're going to concentrate on today. She'il mole mora'ah, if not for its fear, being afraid of some person being afraid of the government, ish esre'ehu chayim bela'o, a person would swallow his friend, his fellow, whole, live even, but whole. Actually, live. Chaim is live. So if you can just have that horrific picture, right? But first of all, what it is telling us, as Rabbi Tversky points out, is that it's a sad reflection on human nature. We are capable of all kinds of terrible things. We can sink to the lowest depths. That is what a human being is capable. We could also raise to the highest heights. We can raise ourselves up. We can be great, but we have the ability to sink to the worst. And a strong government keeps many people in check from reaching those low levels. And even a person who is studying Torah and has imbibed all these things, if they don't have some outside checks and balances, they could, not necessarily will, but they could also end up distorting things. And we've got to remember, we do have our Yetzer Hara working on us. He's trying to get us to do bad things. And if we don't have outside things helping us, then we also could fall prey to all these terrible behaviors. The Pharisee Israel points out that normally, under normal conditions, there would be four things which would prevent someone from harming you. And he says the four things are as follows. If the other person is an honorable person, he's really, a person who's a position of respect, and especially a person who's fear of heaven, who's a scholar and a generous person, not even just a nice person, but a person who's of a high quality, and let's even put it in a Torah perspective. So for that person to do something bad to someone else would be beneath their dignity. So that's one reason why someone wouldn't harm you. A second is it's your friend. It's someone it could be a relative, but certainly it's your neighbor. It's people who you see all the time. Maybe you say good morning to them all the time, and you're getting along with them. Third, it could be someone who, if they do this bad thing, we're talking about something terrible, terrible, like something who would ever do such a thing, right? There's certain things who would ever sink to that low level to do this kind of behavior. That because even someone who's a bad person would never do that, right? There's certain things that we think that way. So maybe that's one of the categories. And then the fourth category is that the other person gets absolutely nothing out of it. Like what is he getting out of hurting you? He's going to do something terrible to you, and it's not like he's getting your money. He's not getting anything out of it. So why would that person do that? He says all those are four reasons why someone might not harm someone else. All of those reasons, he says, forget about them. They all can fall by the wayside. If you don't have the fear of an authority, then it's not going to help. And that is what human beings are. That if we don't have an outside respect for authority and a concern for authority, people could end up doing all kinds of terrible things, with things we would never normally think people would do. So that's the Tiferes Yisrael. Another idea that Irving Bunin brings down is the terminology said an ish. An ish is a word used for a more higher level, like it's not just your average bear. It's somebody who's important, someone who's special. You're a more cultured person. Re'ehu is his friend. He says even a cultured person can sink so low to his friends and neighbors. And when we talk about swallowing, the Mishnah used the word swallow. Swallowing, you could swallow something. You swallow a pill, right? When you take a pill, what do? You swallow it, right? We don't chew it. Do we get any pleasure out of it? We don't get any pleasure out of it, right? So swallowing involves just devouring it without necessarily getting any benefit. And so that's how people are. It could be the Mishnah is telling you that. Another interesting idea the Maharal brings down is that he talks about how the world was created. Hashem created Adam, and Adam was created as one individual. Made up of both male and female, but basically it was one individual. And every other creature in the world was created two by two. Wasn't when Hashem created everything else, he created it together as a multiple. And the Gemara says that the reason why Adam was created alone and single was that he teaches us that if a person destroys a human life, it's as if he destroyed the whole world, right? And vice versa. That every person is like a whole world. Creation was structured technically that you only need one person, and that person, one person would be enough to justify the whole world's existence. And we also learn that every single person in the world is coming from the same mold as Adam, and yet no two people are alike, right? So each one of us can say, the world was created for me. And not as a matter of arrogance, but as really a matter of putting a perspective to say how important my behavior is and how I should conduct myself, because look how Hashem created a whole world just for one human being, and I'm a unique individual. The whole world exists really just for me. I have a responsibility. And then Hashem created the whole system, right? The whole system of the world is laws of nature. And part of the laws of nature, he says that a person, you can view yourself, and it doesn't have to be, again, from an arrogant negative thing, but sort of like, king of the world, as in the whole world was for my purpose. All those laws of nature are there. And if I'm the only one, the world is worth existing. He says there's a natural drive to, now, by the way, of course, now we have many people in the world after Hashem changed that system. So you are one of many. But there's a natural drive that a person has to return to that state of being where you're the only one in the world. And the idea of a government, he says, is to bind people together and to become unified. That is, because there's this natural thing for everybody to say, oh, it's me, everything's about me. And that doesn't work anymore, because there's more than just you. You're not the only one in the world. And therefore, we need an authority to be able to bind people together and to unify people. And therefore, we're praying for the government in order to prevent people from going about trying to, that people are each vying against each other to be like, it's all about me. Because if everybody is trying to make it all about you, then the world is going to be in total chaos. And therefore, the unifying force is designed to say it's not just all about you, and we do have to work together with everybody else in order to make a world that is viable and enjoyable and meaningful for everybody. And that's the role of a strong government, is to enable that. Every one of us, we are all working together in order to better the world for each of us. And we'll hold it there. Have a great day, everyone.